a very good day to all my listeners all across the globe. Welcome back to my podcast, George Nathaniel, and this is George Nathaniel for you. As listeners, you'll know, we have set 2023 as a landmark to achieve bigger goals, to go over bigger benchmarks, and of course, to end the year on a high. So, all over the months of 2023 and all across time, we will be talking about different ways, sharing different experiences, and of course exchange values that can help each other to achieve over all our goals. And by the end of 2023 we plan to celebrate our success together. As you'll know, my podcast is all about wellness, it's all about productivity, and it's about helping one another. And all my podcasts come with a particular subject. So what is the subject of my podcast today? Well, today we're going to talk about get more productive. Well, if we are to achieve in life, if we are to overcome all our goals, if we are to raise our benchmark, we need to get more productive. And remember, to get more productive, it is a habitual well being. And when I say habitual well being, it is as simple as you can't expect to be more productive overnight. It will take you to do the same things time and again. So be kind on oneself, especially in times that are tough, times where you make mistakes, and times when you're learning over something new. Well, in life, we all know success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is a courage and learning that helps us to continue and grow a long time. So, to get more productive, not only on logical thinking, but when we talk about relate to get more productive, it has to be built over solid foundation of knowledge, the experience that we gain on practice, or whatever learnings that we have over our experiences that we gain in time. So when I talk about get more productive, in very simple terms, what are we talking about? What is the most simplest thing that can relate to us? Well, there is a very nice two-liner, and I keep saying all these two-liners, different two-liners in all my podcasts. So today's two-liner is something very special, and it's something common that each one of us has heard it or come across it somewhere sometime in life. It says, don't stop working for anything, or don't stop working for it if you can't stop thinking about it. So if you got it on your mind, if you got it on your vision, or if you have seen it in the vision, don't stop working for it. I'm sure all your work, all your hard work, all your efforts will definitely yield results over time. So continue to pursue, be persistent, and remember, don't stop working for it if you can't stop thinking about it. So when we talk about get more productive, I must tell you that you need to try implementing some intentional growth influences that can help you over productivity. So I repeat it again, try to implement intentional growth influences, which means whatever we do, there must be an intention to it. There must be something that should influence us, that should motivate us. And whatever we do, we need to be consistent with it. So when I talk about try implementing intentional growth influences, what are the few things that can come to my mind? Well, if you're talking about get more productive, what we need to do is we need to get organized to be more productive. So when we talk about organizing ourselves or being organized, we're talking about planning and identifying potential, and most importantly to prioritize. We need to focus to align. There are multiple things that come along time or come along during the course of the day. So we need to focus to align. We need to be aware of the need to improve, and we consciously need to invest time to upgrade or upskill ourselves in our daily routine. So, whatever we do, even if it's a simple thing, and if we are able to achieve it as easily as possible, I'm sure we can always work on upgrading our skills, or we can always work on bettering our skills. So, next time the same thing could get easier. Time management is a very, very effective skill that each one of us needs to work on. Because when you're talking about time management, that is something that sets priorities over our productivity and ensures that we result over all our efforts. So, get more productive is something that each one of us needs to work on our day to day basis. So, when I talk about get productive in our personal lives, our professional lives, or our contribution in life, what are the key takeaways? As you'll know, all my podcasts, I talk about key takeaways as something that we can try to implement in our lives. So, when we're talking about get more productive, what could be the basic key takeaways that we can work on and something that can become a habitual well being for us? So, when one, I must tell you that we need to create a pattern over our efforts. So, when I talk about a pattern over our efforts, I'm talking about upgrading, I'm talking about upskilling, and I'm talking about giving our best in everything we do. We need to be proactive and accountable. It's very, very important that we are proactive and we are accountable. So, that itself assures us some results. Well, we need to get sunlight. So, when I'm talking about we need to get sunlight, is a common phrase that we use is you need to smell the coffee. Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say we need to stop and reflect. In simple terms, in simple words, I would say we must learn, we must adapt, and we must follow. So, get sunlight is as simple as learning, is as simple as adapting, and it's as simple as learning, adapting, and following the correct things that we come across in life. We need to streamline ways to be productive. And remember that everything can't be achieved simultaneously. We need to finish what we have in hands prior to taking up the next thing. So, patience here will play a very, very crucial role. So, there are times when we come across simple things or simpler things or things that we have achieved time and again. We tend to get carried away and take up multiple things simultaneously. Well, I am not saying it's not possible to do multiple things simultaneously. It is possible. But try finishing what you have in hand. If you already have your hands full, you can't take up more and overspill them. So, when we're talking about getting productive, we're talking about all these aspects that come together and make or bring about better results in whatever we are doing. Well, if we look at the corporate world, and when you look at getting productivity over a corporate world, in the corporate world, there are a lot of processes that they follow. And when we talk about or relate to the corporate world, and when we say get more productive, the most common steps or the most common values or the most common practice over goals in a corporate world is the SMART rule. So when I say the SMART rule, I say SMART is, everyone knows, is something that is specific, something that is measurable, something that is achievable, something that is relevant, and something that is time bound. So this is something that all of us follow in a corporate world. So why can't we follow the same thing across our personal lives and across all our contributions in life? I'm sure the results will get even more bigger. The results will get even more better. And eventually, it's all about our own personal wellness. It's all about our own personal contribution that we contribute in our course of time. And if we need to relate to signs, I would say positive signs that are actually getting us on course of get more productive. The most simplest things or simplest signs that we can look at is how effectively we complete our task on time, how positive, how motivative we are to achieve more or to go for bigger goals in life, how much we celebrate our success, and how much we learn from failures. And most importantly, how much we look at getting over the stupid time of 24 hours. Because with every new day comes new opportunity and it comes a new time for wellness over life. So when I talk about get more productive, what I'm saying is we need to master the minutes over the day. And to master the minutes over the day, it is as simple as being as disciplined in understanding what can be done now and what would need preparation over time. Remember, in life, whatever we do, we need to be sincere with our evaluation. We need to be sincere with our efforts. And we need to be sincere with our focus. So, when I was compiling this particular subject, get more productive, I actually compiled something very interesting just for myself and something that I felt really happy about. And I definitely scripted that into these words for you. And I believe that this will help each one of us to understand our value even more. Well, as we know, there is no substitute for sincerity. There is no substitute for hard work. And there is no substitute for being humble. So, if we guys are sincere, if we are hardworking, and if we are humble in what we are doing, I'm sure getting more productive will thus come naturally over a habitual well being. And we can work towards bigger, better results in life and become even bigger contributors in our life. So, listeners, as you know, I keep my podcast very simple. I keep my podcast very generic. And most importantly, I keep my podcast informative. And I hope you get something or some learning out of this. And I'm sure by investing your time in listening to my podcast, you're able to learn something. You're able to take up a new task. You're able to skill yourself in a new way. And most importantly, you're able to be a better person and a contributor in building your own happiness or in building wellness everywhere you go. I hope you like listening to my podcast, Get More Productive. This is George Nathaniel. As you know, my podcast is available across all platforms, and I also have my blog website, which is georgenathaniel.net. Come in, listen to my podcast, or read my blogs. Put in a request, put in your experiences, and I'll be more than happy to come and talk about it, or share things that will benefit others in life. So I wish each one of you greater success in life. I wish each one of you all happiness and all wellness in life. Keep spreading happiness, keep spreading wellness, and thank you for listening to my podcast. This is George Nathaniel.